Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. We don't normally talk about football on the channel, but this time we are because of the political aspect of it. And of course, we've got a few games left in the Euro qualifiers. And aren't Scotland doing ever so well, leading the group and all? Played a couple of games more. But even so, they got a chance of getting through. Who have you got next? Spain next, then Georgia, then Norway, I think. Away at Georgia and home to Norway, I think. I can't remember now. I was only looking the other day. Anyway, whatever it is, it's that. So you've got a very good chance of not just doing well, but of actually qualifying off your own back. It's a fantastic place to be in, of course. Now, the problem with the Tartan Army is it has over the years become sectarian. It no longer really represents Scotland. It only represents one tranche of Scotland, the nationalist cause. And this is very divisive for a national team to be a divided loyalty team. And that needs to change. But we'll take a look at this article because it's addressing that nationalism within the team and how it is damaging both team morale but also the country. And how football, and this is a really weird thing, and it is a truism as well, how football affects politics. They say keep the politics out of sport, but sometimes it's the sport getting in the way of the politics. Here goes. Fears that the famous Tartan Army has become a vehicle for nationalists as England win tipped to boost Skexit support and Westminster blamed for TV snub. You'll see this at the end of the report as people saying, "No, it's Westminster's fault that you're not getting Scotland games on Scottish television." And of course, it's got sod all to do with Westminster. Westminster don't sell the rights to games. That's down to FIFA and the FA. If STV don't want to pay for it, that's an entirely different matter, isn't it? Nothing to do with Westminster. Anyway, Scotland's national team is on the verge of clinching qualification for Euro 2024 after a perfect start to the process, but it seems the same divisions sown by the SNP are in danger of blighting the achievements for some. Yeah, played 5-1-5, I think. That's right, yeah, 15 points. Although you have got Spain next. Let's be honest. I think you've only ever beaten Spain once. Not impossible then, but if you're honest, you're probably going to lose to Spain. On the other hand, if you can't beat Georgia, go home, you know. And then Norway, again, not a pushover Norway, but you've got to be hopeful, haven't you? So one win, I think, would be, 18 points. One win would be enough. If you beat Georgia, you're through, aren't you? Can't think of anyone else. Only Spain. Yeah, only Spain can do it. Yeah, it's the two go through. So yeah, one win would be enough. So you've got 3 games, win 1, all done. And in fact, if the results go the right way for the others, couple of draws and things, who knows, you might even go through without playing, as it were. Anyway, Scotland's national men's football team is on the cusp of history by making it through to the group stage of the qualifying for a major tournament for the first time in 26 years. And while Scotland reached Euro 2020, that was through the back door of the Nations League qualification. They got the second place or something, and it was top 4 went through, something like that. Anyway, Steve Clarke and his side have all but wrapped up qualification for Euro 2024 and could become the first team to book their tickets to Germany in the coming days if results go the right way. Yeah, unbelievable, isn't it, that Scotland could be the first qualifiers. I don't think that's ever happened before. I think this could be unique. It's possible. Anyway, some fans are feeling an increasing disconnect from the famous Tartan Army, who follow the boys in blue. It's been claimed by some that the Scotland support has become a vehicle for the SNP and nationalism, and it truly has. It's truly becoming a very sort of sectarian support. It's been claimed by some that the Scotland support has become a vehicle. Oh, we've just done that, literally done that bit. One unionist account posted a picture of the Scottish Republic flag spotted in the crowd at the Cyprus match. And they claim they don't recognise the Tartan Army now. It's been overtaken by separatists who for years have supported Ireland. Because they're going to, aren't they? One person wrote, "The Tartan Army, once the pride of Scotland, is now an utter embarrassment to Scotland, and yet another example of how sinister the politicising of Scotland had been under this SNP government. Another said nationalism has destroyed Scotland, and it is deep in the Tartan Army, unfortunately. And I remember the old days of Ali's Tartan Army, when they're going to win the cup, and yet strangely didn't. 1978, Argentina. That was a cracker game. I remember old Ali sitting there and he was like, smack that fact. And then he was like, and he was very emotional. And then you've never seen a more abjectly depressed man. You couldn't help but feel so sorry for the man. That's for younger viewers. We'll have no idea, of course, what we're talking about. But us oldies, well, we were there. It was heartbreaking. Anyway, the comments followed Alex Salmond being pictured at the match with fans lining up to have their photos taken with him. And things took another twist when a sports journalist claimed a win for Scotland over England in a friendly match at Hampden on Tuesday to mark the 150th anniversary of the Scottish Football Association could boost the flagging Skexit movement, which is a very weird thing to say. Writing in the Glasgow Times, chief sports writer Matthew Lindsay pointed out to past instances of football seemingly playing a part in politics. Labour's defeat in the 1970 general election has been linked to England's loss to West Germany in the World Cup a few days earlier, while the failure of the 1979 Scottish devolution referendum has been partly put down to the Scottish miserable 1978 World Cup campaign, when Ali MacLeod's men vowed to bring the cup to Scotland, but instead were knocked out in the group stage despite a famous win over Holland. They were one goal. Archie Clemens, was it? Oh, God. And they were one goal away. At one point they had it, and then Holland come back. And they needed to win by a 3-goal majority, I think, 3-goal margin. And, God, they were close. It was a cracking game. I'll never forget that game. Anyway, Lindsay wrote, the next general election has to be held before January the 8th, 2025. Will Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, if he's still in office, leave it late in the hope he can somehow drum up some support for his ailing administration? There is every chance. If, as some political commentators are speculating, he calls it in May, just as Steve Clarke and his boys are preparing to head off to Germany and Scotland is being gripped by Euro 24 fever, it could prove to be a massive own goal. However, the notion has been given short shrift. Yeah, I mean, don't build your hopes up, Scotland. Let's be honest. You might get there, but yeah, no. The reality is somewhat at variance with the desire. You know, sure, you're going, you're hopeful, you know you're going to go, and you know you're going to play, and you know you're not going to win. You see, it's just the case, isn't it? You're going to have teams that are much, much better than you there. Some you're going to beat them, you know, but... Anyway, the SNP Watch account responded. So, a win in a game is going to boost indie support, but Brexit and over a decade of Tory government in Westminster and SNP on Holyrood didn't. Righto, and he's got a fair point. The division didn't end there. An official Yes Group claimed on Friday that Westminster denies Scots the rights to watch their game. The SFA has sold rights to Scotland matches to pay-per-view channel Viaplay rather than the free-to-air channel. International matches involving all home nations are not protected event, meaning England games could also be taken off terrestrial channels if the FA sold the rights. And the Germans for Scott Group tweeted, for those of you on Council Telly Scotland, on Council Telly, there should be a comma in there, Scotland are 3-0 up. Yeah, it was a cracking game. God, it really was. You handed them their arse, really. Although it's only bloody Cyprus. What are you expecting? Anyway, however, they were quickly shot down, amongst others. Leading KC, Roddy Dunlop, who said, this is, with apologies for resorting to legalese, absolute screeching bollocks. Both FA and SFA have commercial freedom as to who they should sell broadcast rights to. Nothing to do with Westminster in either case. Yeah, I mean, it's all bullshit and bollocks. But you don't expect anything less from the mad, bad morons of the SNP and their football branch, the Tartan Army. Well, never mind that. I hope the boys do well. Play well against Spain. Don't risk injury. Just play well. Expect defeat, basically, against Spain. But look after yourselves and then thrash Georgia, and that will see you through. Then it doesn't really matter with Norway. Win would be nice. You know, you take a draw. but it won't ultimately matter if you beat Georgia. Anyway, I shall stop there and shall come up. Yeah, I think the point is there. I think that the Tartan Army has become very sectarian and nationalistic, and I think the best thing is that people who go along to these things who aren't nationalistic and sectarian boo and remonstrate and boo these people once they start singing their sectarian songs or making these comments or flying their sectarian flags. A national side should be all, not just for one political party. If they want their own party, fine, find their own, but you're splitting a country. It's divisive again, but that's the SNP, divisive at all time, pushing to the extreme. It's hate, it's war, it's terrible things. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I will just say, much as I remember Argentina in '78, my first real World Cup was Spain in '82. Where was '86? That was Mexico in '86. Italia '90. That was a cracker. Italia '90 was one of the best. I think that was probably some of the best football ever played in Italia '90. Anyway, enough reminiscences. See you next time. Thanks very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.